Welcome to Moments with Marianne. I'm so delighted we're spending this time here today. We have a very empowering show coming right up with special guest, Dr. Bryan Robinson. And he's here today to share with us his new book, #Chill. Turn off your job and turn on your life. Now, Dr. Bryan is a licensed psychotherapist and professor emeritus at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. He currently has a blog on Psychology Today called The Right Mindset. He has been interviewed by Forbes, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and has been featured as a guest on 2020, Good Morning America, ABC News Tonight, NBC Nightly News, NBC Universal, and CBS Early Show, to name just a few. So today he's here with us to share about how you can remove the stress in your life, stop being overworked, and #chill. So let's welcome to the show, Dr. Bryan Robinson.
Thank you, Marianne. It's great to be here.
What a pleasure it is to have you here. I was so excited to hear you had another book out, because the last time we talked, we had a great time, learned a lot, and then you came up with this new book, #chill.
I know. I had no idea it was going to come out as soon as it did. I thought it'd come out sometime in 2019, later in the year. But the publisher, HarperCollins, pushed it through because they were so excited about it, and it's doing really well. So I'm excited, too.
Well, I can understand why they would want to get this in front of readers as quickly as possible. I mean, it seems like everyone needs to take a chill right now.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the book, it's called #chill, turn off your job and turn on your life. And your job can be anything. In the past I've written about workaholism and people who can't turn it off. And this book is for everybody. It's not just for workaholics, but it's for anybody whose job could be a student or stay-at-home mom or dad or someone who's gainfully employed, or even what I'm finding is a lot of retirees nowadays are so busy that they're burning out. And so it's really for anybody who's up to their eyeballs in tasks and hurrying and rushing and trying to get it all done and feeling like there's not enough time in the day. Now, #chill is not just something that we do. It's a place on the inside that we can go to. But you have to there's certain tools that help you get there. It doesn't just happen automatically. It's like anything else. If I go to the gym and work out, I'm not going to build my muscle in one day. But it doesn't take that much time to find that place and sink into it. During the Super Bowl, a lot of people listening probably kicked back and had a Super Bowl party and watched the game. That's an example of chilling. It's a passive, I call that passive chill, or lying by the pool, or lying in bed reading a book. Those are great things to do. But there's also something I call active chill, and that's where we're mindful of the present moment and that we intentionally go into that place when we get triggered. And I'll give an example of how I practice this in my own life. About a year ago, or maybe even longer, before I even wrote this book, I was coming back from Atlanta. I live in Asheville, North Carolina, and I was in Asheville getting off the ramp to get to my house, and I casually looked over, and there'd been a woman in a little red car in front of me, and she flipped me the bird and gave me this ugly snarl, and I had no idea what that was about. But immediately, when you do these tools, when you work with these tools, you go inside, not outside. Now, the person who reacts to that, which could have been me, would roll down the window and tell her to go to hell or flip her the bird back or whatever. But instead, what I do and what I recommend in the book is that we look inside to see what's going on inside. And here's where you start to find that place between getting triggered and before you respond or react, there's a space. And most of us don't even know that space is there because we usually run roughshod over it because we're on autopilot. But as you start to become more mindful, you realize there's a space there, and in that space you have a choice. And your choice can be to roll down the window and scream obscenities, or it can be to stay in yourself. And that's where your freedom comes from. Now, what I was able to do, and I want everybody to be really clear, I'm not always able to do this because I'm human like everybody else. But in that particular case, I could see my anger, and he was coming toward me, and I'm using the third person on purpose. He's coming toward me, and he says, "Tell the blank to go to hell." And I said, "No, I'm not. That's not who I want to be in the world." And I was able to, instead of even think about her, I was focusing on the inside, and I felt an immediate calm. The anger calmed down. I felt that chill, and it gives you a little bit of a high because you just took charge of your life. And it's kind of like hitting a home run or making a touchdown. Now, as I said before, that's a huge challenge, and it takes a while to get there, just like if you go to the gym and work out. It takes a while to lose the weight and build the muscle. It doesn't happen overnight, but it is well worth the time spent. And the book is about learning ways in which to surmount obstacles, to deal with disappointment, to face curveballs that are unexpected when you get blindsided, so that you're able to get to whatever the task or the job is in a way that you're calmer and that you feel good about. And if it's work or a task, you're going to get the task done in a better quality way. So in a nutshell, that's really what #Chill is about. Some of it is about how to meditate, very simple 5-minute micro chillers, I call them, that lead you to this place.
What a powerful exercise, because being able to be in control and not reacting, which is really the other person, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this because you're the expert, but from what I see, it's like the other person has control over us when we're just like lashing out, reacting.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, if I had let go and, the next time, if this ever happens again, I might lose it because I'm human. So this is not about being perfect. This is not about us walking around like saints on a cloud. We're all human beings, and we're wired for reactivity. Mother Nature wired every one of us to react for survival. So we need our reactivity. But we can choose when we use it, and that's what people are missing. And if you look at the evening news, you see people overreacting on airplanes, people overreacting on the road with road rage. I mean, it's becoming ridiculous. And the one thing I would want everybody to take away is a challenge, and it's something I'm working on too. I challenge everybody who's listening to spend one day and forgive everybody and everything that gets in your way. Now, that's a tall order. I realize it. But play with it, experiment with it, and see what happens. And you'll see it's not that easy, but you'll probably have some success if you're intentional and mindful of doing it. Example, the baby crying on the airplane during the long flight, the missing your flight or your flight delay, your second or third flight delay, someone stepping in front of you at the grocery store, someone cutting you off in traffic, your spouse or partner who overspends without talking to you about it. I mean, the barking dog next door, the neighbor's weed eater when you're trying to take a nap. This is called life, and it's going to happen to all of us. The key is don't ask, well, I'll say it the way John Kennedy said it, and that's where I stole it from. Ask not how life is treating you. Ask how are you treating life. In other words, what do we do with these things when they happen? Because they are going to happen. And we can rant and rave, or we can take a deep breath, go into that place, and say, you know what? I am not going to allow first of all, like you said, I like what you said, someone else to control me, because that's what it is when we react. And I'm going to take care of myself because I don't want my body to be bombarded with a cocktail of adrenaline and cortisol that clogs my arteries, eventually can lead to heart attack if I do this over time, which makes me feel bad which lowers my immune system and has all other kinds of physical effects. This is the mind-body connection that we all talk about because it's definitely there. And what we're finding is people who can find that place, first of all, and at least with more frequency, stay in it. It widens what we call your resilient zone. You become more resilient, and you're able to, over time, stay there. You're going to live longer. You're going to be healthier. You're definitely going to be happier. And you're going to feel better about yourself because you're in charge. And that's where that little high comes from, when you're able to master staying in yourself.
That's so important. And I love how in your book you talk about, when workaholics or people who are just overly busy get into this really kind of rushed mentality, that it puts them in like a victim state. It's really interesting how that all works.
Yeah. Because if we're constantly reacting to what's going on around us, we're not in charge. The world is in charge of us, and we're at the mercy of whatever happens. Our well-being, our happiness, the quality of our life is all at the mercy of a circumstance or another person, and that's why so many people are unhappy. Mother Nature said, I want you to survive. So I have wired everybody with reactivity. And we need it if there's a fire. We don't sit and think about what to do. We get the heck out of Dodge. We break a window if we need to get out of a building if it's on fire. So we need our reactivity, and that we need the adrenaline to help us survive. If someone's coming at you with a knife or a gun, you definitely want to be able to take care of yourself. But what I'm talking about are just the daily navigation of life that are not really that threatening, but sometimes they can feel like a threat when we overreact. So Mother Nature said, if you want to be happy, I've taken care of you, and so you can survive. But if you want to be happy, that's up to you. You got to do that. So, and that's what #Chill is about. It's finding this other place where we have a choice on what we want to do with what comes at our doorstep. And that's powerful. Over time, it's a powerful feeling. And there are 8 C words that automatically happen. They're byproducts of #Chill. And let me see if I can get them all. Calm, clarity, because you start to see more, just like I was able to see my anger and realize what was going on inside of me instead of being oblivious to it. Curiosity, compassion for self and for other people, connectedness, again, with other people and with ourselves. What am I missing? Oh, confidence and courage. Courage is sticking your neck out. We're more apt to, it's kind of a paradox in a way. When we find that place, we're a little more willing to take little risks, not safety risk, but in terms of maybe going to a party where we don't know anybody, or calling up a friend and not worrying about getting rejected. But when we stick our neck out, that's where growth occurs, outside our comfort zone. So these are states of being that complement the state of doing. And most of us in our culture, for sure, rewards doing more than being. But what the being does, it brings more balance to our busy lives if we can be and do. And one of the exercises in the book is I suggest people make a to-be list. And usually when I say that, the people go blank, like, what in the heck are you talking about? But their to-do list runs out the door. It's huge. Well, the to-be list is anything that you can do to complement the doing, that brings balance to your system, such as I meditate 5 minutes a day. And I recommend in the book 5 minutes a day in your sweet spot. That helps you find that #chill place inside. Now, a lot of people, when they hear meditation, their first comment is, I can't meditate. I don't know how. Well, we're not talking about sitting in lotus position on the floor or playing any kind of music. We're not talking about burning incense, or sitting for 20 minutes. Somewhere between sunrise and sunset, everybody has 5 minutes. And here's what we know. If everybody listening were to take 5 minutes and just go inside without judgment, with curiosity, that's one of those C words, and just for 5 minutes, just watch what's inside. What parts of you are stirred up? Is there an anger part? And don't judge it. Just let it be whatever it is. It's like you're looking in a closet you haven't looked in for 5 years and naming what's in there. That will, over time, it puts what we call the brakes on the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, we all have gas and we all have brakes. And if we drive ourselves or drive our cars the way we drive ourselves, that car is going to burn out or go off the cliff, because when we drive our cars, we have brakes and we have gas. So what hashtag chill is about is putting on the brakes.
Yeah, being able to take that time and go, okay, wait a minute. Well, and you've talked about meditation, and for our listeners that maybe don't meditate or have it in the past, I know you offer a lot of different ways that they can meditate. Mm-hmm. What are a couple of the ones that you find that people kind of feel more popular with, or that are more popular?
We'll do one right now. If everybody listening, we won't actually do it now, but you can do this at any point. Just take 1 minute or 2 minutes and listen wherever you are. Listen to every sound around you. Just identify every sound. Just focus on every sound. It could be your gurgling stomach. It can be the heating system. It could be traffic outside or voices in the background. Just name each one for 1 minute. And after you're through, this is all about going inside. So it doesn't matter what you focused on. Go inside and notice your heart rate. Notice how much looser your muscles are. Notice your respiratory rate. Just notice how much calmer you feel. That's 1 minute. 1 or 2 minutes will do it. Now imagine if you do that over time, 5 minutes a day for a month. I've had my clients in my private practice come back, and I work with high rollers, people in highly visible positions. They come back and say, it's changed my life. Because why? It widens your resilience zone over time. You're basically disciplining your mind and your nervous system that I don't have to be rushing and hurrying every minute. I can get to whatever it is I need to complete. And this is the paradox. I get there faster, and I get there without the stress, and what I accomplish is going to be better quality. And that's the research. That's not my opinion. And I'm seeing it with my clients as well. So, the way I meditate, I take 5 minutes a day and I focus on my breath. Meditation is focus. That's all it is. You can focus on something outside of you, or you can focus on something inside of you. I focus on my breath in through my nose and out through my mouth. And when you do this kind of meditation, your mind is going to start to wander. It's supposed to. That's meditation. That's when a lot of people give up. You just bring your attention back to the breath and in through your nose and out through your mouth again, and your mind is going to wander again. Don't get frustrated and don't give up. That's meditation. You're actually doing meditation when your mind wanders, because you're teaching it, hey, just come back here. We don't have to go there. We can be here. And your mind starts to learn over time to focus more. And when you focus, your heart rate slows down because you're in the present moment. You're not worried about the future. You're not regretting the past. You're in a mindful state, and that state starts to have an impact on your nervous system. So you'll start to notice, maybe 3 weeks later, somebody calls you a name or reacts to you, and you just automatically notice, hey, I didn't react the way I usually do. I stayed in chill. That's the exciting piece when you start to see it show up in your life. And a lot of people don't understand, what does 5 minutes a day have to do with me at work or me with my spouse? Well, that's it. I know it's hard to make that connection, but it's automatically going to be there. And as you start to see it, then that really gives you the motivation to keep that going, because it feels so good to be positive when someone else is being negative, or to be in a good mood if someone else is in a bad mood, or to be loving if someone else is being ugly. I saw Tom Brady on TV before the Super Bowl, and I was so impressed. And I haven't always been a fan of Tom Brady, but he was talking to a little boy at the press conference, and the little boy said, "What do we do about haters?" And Tom Brady said, "We love them. We don't hate. Love them and wish them a good life." And my admiration for him skyrocketed, because that's exactly what I'm talking about. The whole idea is make that choice to be who you are, not give that power away to someone else. It's very freeing. We get out of the cage we've been living in when we practice some of these tools.
Well, your book, #Chill, has so much great information. I think I have time for one more question here. Do you know, in your book, you talk about being good enough. And is that like a problem that workaholics have, that there's this story that's kind of playing in the background that I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, on and on and on?
It is. It's something that even if we're not workaholics, a lot of us feel on the inside. We have the little voice, the critic or the judge that says you can't do it, or you're not okay, or you're not as good as so-and-so. The thing is, because we hear it in our echo chamber, we believe it because we think it. And the key is not to believe everything you think, because our thoughts are not always accurate. In fact, many times they're not accurate. They scare us. And here again, this is for survival. We all have what's called a fortune teller before an event happens. We imagine sometimes the worst, but again, that's so we're prepared for whatever happens. That's Mother Nature's legacy that she gave us. There's also something I talk about in the book called masturbation. And masturbation is when I have this voice in my head that says, I must be perfect. I must do it perfectly. I must get everybody to like me. I have to. I should. I ought to. And we don't realize, first of all, we're even doing it. We're so unconscious. But if everybody would step back and take a breath and start to listen to their echo chamber, that's an example of an external pressure. It's that pressure that we're putting on ourselves. And when we do that, it's oppressive. That language is oppressive. And so we feel pressure from it, and we don't even realize it. But if you start listening to how you talk to yourself and what you require of yourself, like the musts, there are these rules that we impose on ourselves, when nobody can be perfect. Nobody can have everybody liking them. So usually what we're requiring of ourselves are not rational and not reasonable, but we don't take the time to step back and listen to what's going on. When we do that, it again helps us find that place of chill, because I can say, instead of I must, I can say I want to, I choose to, I plan to, I can, or I will, and that's powerful language. That may sound like a little thing to people, but believe me, it's very powerful when we step back and listen to how we treat ourselves inside our skin. And compassion is one of those C words I mentioned earlier. And compassion for myself, we're talking about self-care here, and my compassion for other people is, again, one of the ways that help us find that place called #chill. You know what? I get in people's way sometimes. I forget. I make a mistake because I'm human. And so if I can forgive myself and if I can forgive other people when they do that, well, we're all human. There's a piece of me in everybody and a piece of everybody else in me. We're all human beings, and this is just what we're going to do. But when we can get to the place of forgiving or even loving that person or ourselves when we do make a mistake, again, you find yourself settling into that chill spot.
Isn't that the truth? And that seems like one of the most difficult things to do is really find that compassion for ourselves. But you have it so well laid out in #chill that people can get to that place. It's not some mysterious place that, like only...
That's right.
Spiritual
and sometimes
leaders
it just happens automatically as a byproduct. You don't even have to go searching for it. When you start taking better care of yourself, when we treat ourselves inside our skin with more forgiveness and more kindness, it will automatically start to spill over to other people. The key is to really, I call it an inside job, is to be nicer to myself when I make a mistake or forget or do something wrong, because I will. We all will. It's just the nature of who we are. We're all fallible. We're all flawed.
It's just how it goes. Well, I thought #Chill was a fabulous read, very inspiring. Where can our listeners connect with you and learn more about your books and the work you do?
My website is the best place. It's www.bryanrobinson.com. That's Bryan with a Y, BryanRobinson.com. And there's a test that folks can take if they go to my website. On the home page, just click on How Chill Are You? And take the test. It'll automatically score you. You get an electronic score, and there are resources for you on the website. I write a blog called The Right Mindset for Psychology Today, and all the blogs are there. Everything's free. You can order the book on the website, and there are other books that I've written that you can also check out. That it's all on there.
Well, lots of great resources, and you've always been such a beautiful fountain of information for people to make their lives better. Bryan, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Thank you, Marianne. It's always a pleasure. Appreciate it.
It's been such an honor, Dr. Robinson, to spend this time with you and, of course, to talk about your new book, #Chill. Again, if you'd like to connect with Dr. Bryan Robinson, you can at his website, BryanRobinsonBooks.com, and we'll have the link below. #Chill is available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all indie bookstores. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I would like to thank everyone for tuning in. You're listening to Moments with Marianne. And remember, make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Moments with Marianne airs every Sunday, Monday, Thursday, and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.